There's not been a lot of address to you.
So this is what a ham fest looks like in Longview, Texas, and it's usually not just for ham radio stuff. People come out here, they try to sell whatever they can. Really, you notice all the laptops and stuff on the ground over there. And the first table I was pointing at just now, I actually bought something from them. Actually, a whole bunch of something from them. Let's go to the truck over here and find out what I got. This box full of a crap ton of hard drives, and I just picked it up for 40 bucks. There's Hitachi, Western Digital, Fujitsu, Maxtor, Seagate, everything in it under the sun. And that's a 160 gigabyte. This one here's a 250, I think. Nope, that one's a 40. There's a couple of 250s in here. There's SATA, there's IDE, and yeah, I couldn't pass it up for 40 bucks. That was just insane. Okay, that one's a 250 right there. That's a laptop drive, and it's a 250 SATA. So yeah, I scored. I'm just gonna say I scored. I have more hard drives than I'll ever know what to do with now. So, that's my latest little run. The real fun part's gonna be getting them all into my database. I think I'm gonna put my database on MySQL because it's just a lot easier to work with. And I can build the website or a web page around that and work with it that way. See, and then you get the little ones, like this one's a 6.4 gig and this one here is like a 6.2, I think. Yeah, 6445, does that say? No, 644, 8.6 megabyte. Yeah, little bitty hard drives. And then you got the big ones. So, yeah, I can do with that. I can do with that. My dad sold a couple large items, so he's got the trailer here and bought a tower for his ham radio stuff, and yeah, good stuff. Even grabbed me a CB radio, but I'm not even sure if I'll use it. We'll see. Anyway, yeah, so there's that. Okay, now I've got all these drives all spread out in here and figured out what each one of them is. These 5 Maxtor drives up here, I have no idea what their capacities are because Maxtor didn't bother to put their capacities on early drives. Now, that's the smallest of all the 3.5-inch hard drives at 6.4 gigabyte. And then we come up into the 20s and 40s. Those 3 are 40s. These two have the same model number, so they're stacked. Just like these two have the same model number here. They're both 250 gig. But all 4 of those are 40s, and then we got a 10, 40, and this one's an 80 actually. This one's a 100, this is a 250, and then we got a 120, 120, 160, and then 250s. And then we get to the little laptop hard drives, and this one over here made me laugh. Look how thick this drive is. Can you guess what its capacity is as compared to, say, this one here, which as you can see is quite a bit thinner. Well, this one here is an 80 gig. This one is just barely pushing 1 gig. It isn't even pushing 1 gig, because 1 gig, wait a minute, that's a 10 gig. I misread that. Okay, never mind. But still, it's huge. 80 gig slim versus 10 gig fat, you know? And then the next I guess that makes this the smallest drive then, because it's a 6.4 gig as well. And then 12, 20, 30, 40. All of these drives in this stack are the same model number, and all 40 gig. So yeah, I have 14 of them, and then 2 more the same, 2 more, 3 more, and then these are all 20s over here, also all the same model number, DJSA220, and then everything else is pretty much singular except for the 30s back here, and there's 4 of them. And then I have 2 250s right here. So I have a grand total of 4 250 gig hard drives right here. And the going price for that sort of stuff, even on eBay, is at least 40 bucks. So I picked up this entire box for the price of 1 hard drive. Sweet! You can't beat that. I mean, let's count it up here. I got 6, 7, 8, 9, 18, 19, 20. 20 3.5-inch drives. And then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19, 20, 22, 36, 37, 38, 40, 43, 45, 46, 47, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 56 total hard drives for the price of 1. I will call that a win. Okay? But now I have the real task of going through these things and making sure they actually work. I talked to the guy and he said he hooked them. He had this little thing. He hooks the hard drives up and they just wipe out the hard drive, format them, delete the data, whatever. I don't know the specifics, but he says the ones that he didn't get to work on the data wiper, he mechanically destroyed. So those wouldn't be here anyway. So that implies that all of these drives actually work. But you know me, I gotta test this stuff for myself. So I've got my trusty little USB 3.0 to SATA converter, and my USB to 2 forms of IDE converter. I got my 40 pin on one side, 44 pin on the other, and of course SATA if I really needed it, but I don't in this particular case. And I got this drive over here. It's currently working, so I can't use it, but I don't need it. And I also don't need a power supply because USB 3.0 provides the power for a SATA hard drive, and USB 2.0 provides the power for these drives. I'm well set here. So we're just going to go through a couple of drives here and make sure they work. Well, so far we got all these drives that are tested good, or at least have worked. Let me put it that way. Still got a stack over here. This stack over here works, but one of the drives has bad. Actually, no. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These drives, these 3 here, and these 2 down here, their smart attributes are rather questionable, with their current pending sector count being anywhere from 1 to D4. I'm like, I'm not going to use these drives if they got pending sectors. Screw that. Because that means it's about to lose the data on that sector. Not good. This drive, on the other hand, is not even letting me format. So I'm just going to go ahead and trash this one. And you know what's really funny about it? It's drive number 13 I'm checking. Alright, and now we can watch this thing be a POS and not work. Assuming the camera ever focuses. That sounded good. And so that was the end of that hard drive. Well, we've made it through all of the 2.5-inch laptop drives and all of the 3.5-inch SATA drives. Every single one of them is in great shape. Happy for that. There's actually 3 250 gigs because I forgot this Mac store is actually a 250. But it's so old and heavy, I'm almost afraid to use it. It's Smart Attributes was showing something along the lines of like 34,000 hours of power on time. And it's like, But I'm going through these IDE drives and decided I'd try the Western Digital first, but I don't think it's in good shape. It doesn't sound too good, but that's nothing compared to what it sounds like when I first started up. Once again, making sounds no hard drive should ever make. So it looks like I'm gonna rip into this one too. So let's see what this one's doing in Clickerland. Ooh, I broke it. Head crash. Time for a reboot. Really? Well, that almost seemed normal. Who knows, this thing might actually work after all. We'll try it. Alright, now we have the interface cable connected. Let's see what this thing is gonna do. Okay. It's showing. This drive hasn't been formatted. Whoa! It's still empty, but hasn't been formatted. It's working. Now let's see what happens when I try to put a file on it. Because I have some pretty big files that I can use on my fast temp SSD. Yeah, we can take this one. 1.11 gigabyte. Let's see what happens when I try to drag it down here. What? Okay, let's try one of the smaller ones. Unexpected error. Okay. Can I just make a file? Okay. Well, let's try a format and see what that'll do. Duh. Yeah, the driver's fast enough. Well, let's see what this program has to say, if anything. Let's see, we're gonna cooperate for that. Do something. No, it's got issues, that's for sure. Reallocated sector count, B9. That is 41, I think. Yeah. And it's still freaking out. Spin retry count, 0. Yeah, right. Start stop count, dead. Anyway, well, I think I'm done with this POS. Time to rip its disc out too. And you see, I kind of like this drive's configuration as compared to the 2.5-inch drives where there's just one screw in the middle, because with this one I can actually use the ability to turn the discs to help me get the screws loose, just like that. Now look at this. This guy's out of the way. Get this hellaciously powerful magnet off in here. Which I will say is a heck of a lot easier said than done. Yeah. Usually I'd have a pair of pliers in here for this sort of thing. But alas, I prevail. And now, one disc. Well, this should just fall out now. Yes, 3 discs. Ooh, and with this one, I can actually remove the motor. Sweet. Sweet. With that, I can just take the discs and put them right back on the motor and keep it just like that. Put these little washers on here, and or spacers, or whatever you want to call them, I guess. Put them on there, and I can actually put this right back the way it was, if I wanted to. And as for the rest of this, well, I better get that other magnet out of there. Gotta love these hard drive magnets, that's for sure. Yep, and that's all I'm gonna do with this one. Take out these screws. I should only need 2 of them anyway, so whatever. "12 drives to go." And this one, it just wasn't meant to be.